Is everything working?
Hey guys, let's get started. Yay! All right, yay! Power Rangers in the building. Do you want to take questions, or do you want to get people lined up to ask a question? Like, how do you want to do this?
What do you guys want to tell them at?
You guys!
Yeah! Are you going to moderate?
Power Rangers SPD.
He's like 90 seconds for the hour.
Scott, are you a moderator or what?
I am now the moderator of the panel.
Okay, good.
That's a cool
I think it helps when nobody has any questions to ask. If a moderator is like able to keep going, because that kind of like.
So here's a couple of my rules for moderating the panel.
Oh, good.
One, don't ask hypothetical questions. What would they have done in that episode? If they're not writers except for him. See him after the show and he can tell you what he would have wrote otherwise. Yeah. Mark wrote the show for how many years?
About 10, 11 years. I did the show from 1994 to 2000, and then I came back in last year and did a few episodes of Dino Charge.
Does everybody like Dino Charge so far? That's what Chip wants to hear, right?
I'll pass it along to Chip.
No morphine things. So
Yeah, no more.
don't morph. Their wrists are really sore from writing autographs, and morphine hurts the wrists. You're asking a hypothetical question. Najee just showed up. Does everybody know who everybody is up here? Do I need to do any introductions? Sure. Sure. Okay. First off, Steve Cardenas. Morphin did a small stint Zeo and then hurt his back in Turbo. He just can't drive cars. Speaking of cars, Turtle Van and Baboo. Nice segue. Then we have Christopher Khayman, known as Andros, the man who killed Zord. Melody Perkins. Slightly more good. Alright. Mark Litton, he's a writer. We already went through some of his pedigree. He knows the show backwards, forwards, side to side, and he's here today to answer questions about it. Guys like him are what make the show. Him and people like Chip, they work really hard behind the scenes to make sure you get the best show possible. They know the stuff that nobody else knows. Brandon J. MacLaren, SPD. Also did a great show called Graceland. If you haven't seen it, watch it on demand. Great. Back when he had hair. And of course, Najee, Power Ranger Samurai Blue. Yeah. Look at his mom. She's out there at the table. She tells the good stories. So, again, I have a lot of little bit of rules. If I don't like your question, I'm just going to go on to the next question. That's just how it works. There's no morphing, there's no hypothetical questions. Do they remember what happened in episode 13? Probably not. Are they all going to be at Morphicon? Yes. We have a lot of Red Rangers. We got one blue. There's only blue.
Two blue.
Two blue. 1 pink. Everybody else was red. So, do we have any like Red Ranger questions for the Red Rangers? You just raise your hand. Nobody want that guy. That's not hypothetical. That's a good question. That's really up to Chip and Saban. And I would say right into Saban and say, do another Forever Red. If they get enough people demanding it, they can certainly make something happen.
And if they did, I don't think the Disney people would be included either. No, they do, but they don't like us. The Saban people, they don't like the Disney season. It's kind of,
Disney season is not ran by them.
yeah, so we're dead to them.
That's fine. I think SPD is held in higher regard than Mystic Force. Now, it's been my knowledge, listening to you guys, that the two of the favorite seasons have been Time Force and SPD. Right? I don't make this up. This is what I hear.
SPD made my character a homeless person in the first episode. That sucks.
Maybe that's why it was so well ranked. More questions. Najee's here for Samurai. Who has a Samurai question? Power Ranger Samurai. Okay. You're almost raising your hand there in blue. You're already wearing blue. So. Yeah.
He's got a question.
Who's got a question? There we go.
How was the chemistry between you and the actress who played Mia? How was the chemistry?
Hypothetical question.
How's the chemistry between you and the actress who played Mia?
Who played Mia?
Yeah.
Yeah, the chemistry. It was fun. It was cool. When we were starting the show, I didn't know that our characters were gonna, have some sort of interest in each other a little bit. But yeah, me and her had good chemistry on and off set. She coincidentally married a guy off set. I don't know if you guys know this, but while we were filming, there was a lighting guy who would be doing the lighting during the show, and she fell in love with him, and they married while we were filming.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was, our chemistry was good regardless, but she got married.
Cool.
Okay, so all you guys out there that work in Hollywood, lighting really pays off. So I think, go ahead.
I have a question, for all of you guys. Growing up in the series I've been such a great fan. I want to know, even afterward, what's some of the biggest challenges that you face, and how have you overcome rejection, if any, whether in the field or of anything? If you could give us examples of things you overcame, challenges per se.
Any kind of challenge?
Yeah, any personal experiences that you
Like today, I didn't want to pay for parking, and the parking lot was $7. And I was like, nah, I'm talented. And he's like, all right, go ahead. So that was a challenge.
As a follow-up to that, I got your card. I appreciate it.
That was the last challenge I had. We ain't paying for parking.
So, well, part of this question was like challenging how do you deal with rejection. I know you are out beating the street all the time for doing new gigs. How do you deal with going out there every day and not always getting the roles, but Victorville is on demand on Netflix.
Yeah, so I think I know what you're asking. As far as actors go, we get rejected all the time. And then we get booked. It takes so many tries. You just have to stick to your craft. You have to always be, in an acting class. You have to just, give it your all, and you'll eventually get booked. Hopefully, you'll eventually get booked if you stick with it and you're talented. But as actors, all of us, we've gotten rejected, you know, for shows, you know, this, that. But don't let it phase your character. Just, you know, keep going forward, and you can possibly be a ranger in the future or a superhero, regardless. So, you know, just keep going. I think
just basically don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up. Just because one show doesn't want you, you know, one photo shoot doesn't want you, whatever it is, just keep going. You'll be surprised how they book, I'm telling you, your background doesn't matter. They book all different types of people for different roles. So just keep going and get good agencies behind you, good acting classes, and go all the way.
None of these are from the show. They don't let us take home anything. I don't know if somebody may went home with anything. That's a different question. That's probably more appropriate.
I stole my jacket. I stole my SPD jacket. I stole my Morphin. I stole a whole bunch of stuff. Well, because if they're not gonna give it to me, then I'm like, come on. It's like, why can't I have my jacket? You made it for me. And you're gonna sit in a warehouse in New Zealand. Like, let's be reasonable. I didn't sell mine. I still have mine. And I auctioned my Morphin off.
Wow.
What else? There's a couple other things, but yeah, they don't give you anything. It's weird, and it's not like they're paying us.
I got my astronomer boots.
Oh, for that.
My leather astronomer boots. Yeah.
That's not called different.
I had to buy my jacket on the show. I had to buy it. I mean, it was something that I wore. And I had to buy a jacket. They were like, oh, we're gonna get rid of this. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I guess. And they're like, $15, $20. And I was like, really? Yeah, $15, $20. Yeah.
No question.
$15, $20. You know, they.
Did you ever come home with anything on set?
A lot of stuff, yeah. But if you guys follow me on Instagram, this is a quick little plug, but for a reason. So TMNT Van is my Instagram, and recently I went to somebody's house that had the Frax eye line from Time Force. We actually had a Frax eye line that somebody held. There's a picture of that on my Instagram. And there's some other Power Rangers memorabilia. I don't want to say it out loud.
One of the things that I have is I have the boots from the movie that I wore when we did our hands and feet at the Chinese theater for the movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have those boots. That's about one of the only things that I was able to walk away with. But that's pretty cool though, man. And we took when we did the ceremony there, where we put our hands and feet in there and signed our names. They took and donated those cement blocks to children's hospitals around the country. So it was kind of cool. Yeah, it was fun.
Nice. I got a couple pictures.
Oh, you guys have pictures of the ceremony?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Now, did you walk away with anything from New Zealand?
Not really. I had a really cool training costume made. I don't know if you guys seen us in our little training outfits, but I had one made to the exact cue from the show, which is kind of cool. And the rest of the stuff I kind of like to buy.
Yeah, most shows don't let you walk away with anything off set. As a prop guy for television movies, it's my job to make sure they don't steal. Because we have to return that. Often stuff is rented. And I remember doing just a pilot, and the star walked off with this key for a lock. And it was an old-fashioned key to an old-fashioned lock. And he just walked off, and he never called back. So we had to buy the lock from the rental company, which the rental was like $25. The lock was $600 because he took the key. Since we had to return it, no longer functioning, we had to buy it from him. So that's why often stuff isn't printed. Now, for shows like this where they have jackets and stuff, it does go into storage and eventually it gets destroyed. Will you show me a picture of the Star Trek sets?
So I was recently at the Paramount warehouse last week where they destroyed. I saw literally all the sets from the first Star Trek movie that just came out, the most recent one, the very first one. They destroyed all the sets. They had Spock's birthing chair they just took a sledgehammer to. And I have a lot of Star Trek friends that are fans. I'm a fan to an extent, but I have friends that are like, they live for that. And I just started sending him pictures because we're not allowed to take pictures, but I'll take them and I'll send them off to people I know won't distribute them. And this guy was like crying. He sent me a picture of him crying. He's like, "Can't I just get a truck and pick that stuff up?" I'm like, "No, it doesn't work like that, man. Once they give it the go, they bring a 40-yard dumpster and they keep bringing them until they're done."
In some cases, we're told to dispose of stuff. Now, dispose and destroy are two different words in the business. Dispose means I can secretly just take it away, and as long as it's not there in the morning, I've done my job. Destroy means they have to hit it with a hammer, put it in the trash can. Two different words, and that's how stuff gets out on other markets, sometimes for movies and stuff. Another question. Shoot.
Has working at Founders hampered your career in any way, trying to get other accolades after, or?
I became a Ninja Turtle. Is that better or worse?
That's a huge step down.
I just performed a halftime show for the Sacramento Kings on Friday with Vanilla Ice, the champions.
Anybody else have an answer to that? Has Power Rangers hampered or helped your career?
I feel like I was feeling really good after Power Rangers because I hadn't really acted that much before, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll just get on another show. It's so fun. So then I started testing for these pilots, and I realized it's a little harder than I thought. So I guess it kind of gave me this like false idea of Hollywood, so it was kind of hard to get over that and be like, oh, it's really hard because I didn't really realize I wanted to be an actress until I was on the show. So yeah.
I don't think it's helped or hampered. I've been lucky thus far since the show. I got She's the Man like 10 days after I wrapped Power Rangers. So I was like, yeah, got that out of the way, got a movie right away. And so I've been good. So I think it's just, it hasn't helped or hampered. I think it's sort of neutral. It is something that it did, and it's great, and people love it, and but I don't think anybody holds it against you. You know what I mean?
I think there used to be a stigma against it early on.
Yeah.
But now it's more of a springboard. Like, oh, you were on Rangers. They maybe look at you a little more favorable. And that's something that Najee, when you win that, did that help you out on casting calls?
I kind of go with Brandon on this one. That hasn't really helped or hampered as far as other projects. The only thing that'll help with is like fan appeal. Like they'll be like, oh, he has a kids demographic. If it's a kids show, they were about to put him on, help or whatever. But yeah, it hasn't really helped or hampered that much. Yeah, I don't think they go, we're gonna book him because he's a Power Ranger.
That's not how you got this Dogs commercial?
I wish. I wish. There was like 3 callbacks. I was like, for a commercial, really? Yeah. So no, I wish, but yeah.
Rick.
So I remember the first few episodes of Mighty Morphin. I think they had guns, and then did they kind of disappear? Was there a story with that? No.
I'm trying to think about it.
That's a good question for
That we had, last year in New Zealand, we watched the first episode on Thanksgiving with the cast, and they'd never seen it before, and we didn't really have, we had blasters, I think, but we didn't call them guns because you really couldn't call an item what it was because of standards and practices, and say for instance, we couldn't say I had an episode that the monster was carrying around something. It was the second episode that I did for them. It was Putty on the Brain, and there was the monster was carrying around a fire extinguisher. There was no question. This was a fire extinguisher, but we could not call it a fire extinguisher. but we could call it something slightly different, something with a slightly science fiction edge to it. And then they'd say, oh, okay, we can use it now. And it's like, but on the show, it's going to look like a fire extinguisher, it's going to fire like one, but as long as we call it something else, we're okay. It's like, shoot.
Fire starter?
It was something like that. Well, it was because it was the salad guana monster.
You can remember that off the top of your
Wow.
head.
Which was this salamander mixed with an iguana. Something like that. My first monster was a sacadillo monster, which was half armadillo, half soccer ball.
Sounds freaking awesome.
Sometimes that's how you remember things. You jam these two things together. And that helps. It's mnemonic. But for the guns, we would have to call them blasters. When we did Wild West Rangers, because that was my episode, we did have pistols. But that was I think that was the only time where we actually referred to them as such.
This is a writing question. I'm a film student. I have a hard time writing scripts. And, sometimes my teacher would be like, write a 10-page script. So that's basically 10 minutes. So,
Right.
I mean, how do you fill up 10 minutes? I guess it's like, with dialogue and such, you don't want it to be boring.
Sure.
And things like that. So I know what not to do, but it's hard to keep it interesting for 10 pages.
Well, there's a lot of different things that you have to do in order to keep any scene active. And what they'll tell you is that a lot of times when people read your script, they'll read the first 10 pages and that's all they'll give you before they decide, I really don't want to read the rest of this. So the first 10 pages have to be really good. So the main thing it has to be is really interesting. How do you create interest is through conflict. And you've got to have characters who have strong goals. And in each scene, they have to have some action that they're trying to do. And as actors, you'll look for that in the scene. You'll look for what's my intention, what am I trying to accomplish here, and what is this guy across from me in the scene trying to stop me from getting. And as a writer, you do the same thing. You look for those things that sustain that conflict. And at the end of the scene, it goes one way or another. And then you move on to the next scene. And you just keep doing that for 10 pages. I mean, that's simplification of what you do. But the big thing is to think about the things in life that interest you, that give you passion. And when you're writing about that, also think of the things that get in the way of that passion, and put that in there too. So that's, but it's, there's so many movies that give it are bland and don't do anything, and so many scripts do that because they forget this idea of conflict, and it's just that's why you never have a scene. They try to give you don't do a scene around a dining room table. Don't do dinner. Don't do phone calls. Where you at least if you watch anybody in a phone call in a movie, you'll notice they never hang up. They never say goodbye, or they don't even say hello sometimes. They'll just pick up the phone and start talking or something. You cut in and cut away before that happens. So because that's the boring parts of life, and the scripts are about the things in life that make you want to live it, or that make you want or struggle. But it's not about it's not about the mundane stuff at all. So anytime you look at a scene and say, "Boy, this isn't interesting," it's probably because you've got the mundane stuff in there. So you want to root that out as much as possible.
That ruins my plans for Taxman, the movie.
Yep.
Apart from you guys' sequence, what are your favorite sequences? What is your favorite sequence? We'll start with Najee and work our way down.
Mighty Morphin.
SPD.
I like parts of Turbo and Zeo too, but then Lightspeed Rescue, I changed my name on. I didn't go as Mark Litton. My name under that was John Fletcher. So there's a few episodes of Power in Space I went under John Fletcher, but it wasn't because I didn't like the show. I like that one. It's one of my favorites.
I'm in space. I think so.
You were saying though, apart from the series that we were on, so I can't say in space.
I just answered it.
You just jump right on that because you don't care. So that's how Brandon does things, you know. If I can't pick in space, then I would pick Lux. Yeah, I would pick Lost Galaxy because Danny was my buddy. So.
Cool.
He already knows. They were like besties.
Even though I was on Mighty Morphin through Wild Force, I like Time Force.
I still think that my favorite season to work on was Zeo. For me, like I was talking earlier to some of these guys, and it's like, I had never done any acting before in my life when I auditioned for the show. I just did karate and some gymnastics and stuff, and that was what got me the part. But I had never been in an acting class. It was never like a desire of mine. So when I first started on the show, it showed. You know what I mean? Paul Schreier was my acting coach. Bulk was my acting coach, kind of helped me get comfortable around the camera and stuff. So those first couple of seasons of Mighty Morphin was really hard. But as Zeo rolled around, I kind of started developing the craft a little bit and started having a lot more fun with it. And they gave my character a lot more to do. So I know you're supposed to pick a different one, but that was like a personal struggle for me. So I say Zeo was my favorite season to work on because it was really a lot of character development element for me. So I was happy to be part of that.
On the lines of the last one, but favorite Megazord, hands down.
Let's just say Mighty Morphin is probably right.
The first Megazord was really cool. Although I do like the Red Dragon Thunderzord.
Yeah, the Red Dragon Thunderzord is on the tip of my tongue. Serpentera, I even like Serpentera. That's a Eight Sword sucks.